A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope all of you are doing great and are set to learn the next concept in our Arabic journey. So before we set off with this new concept, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us and to make it easy for us to understand this thing. Alright, so Rabbi Yasir, wala tu'assir wa tammim bil khair, which means, my Lord, my Rabb, make it easy and do not make it difficult, and let it be completed in the best of manner. Next, we have my favorite dua, which is Rabbi Yasir, wala tu'assir wa tammim bil khair. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. So let's get right into it, inshallah. Previously, we discussed about Tanween and its significance, and about how there are three forms of Tanween and their importance, their implications. So Rafa, Nasab, and Jar forms. We still have to discuss the Jar form at length, okay? I barely just touched the subject, so don't worry about the Jar form just as yet. Just remember that Jar is the in sound. Okay, so today, inshallah, we are going to discuss the equivalent of the article, of the English article the, which is al. Now we say it all around in Arabic, okay? This edition of this, for example, we have kitabun, that's what we have been studying so far, okay? So this is our example, kitabun. We know that we know from our recitation that al-kitabu, okay? So al, whenever this al is added to any ism, that ism becomes marfa. Alright, now note here that I'm not saying the proper noun, I'm going to say ism marfa, and that is because there are 7 different ways in Arabic by which you can call an ism marfa. Okay, so proper noun is for English, and ism marfa is for Arabic, and I'm going to discuss this at length, inshallah. Okay, so don't worry about this either. So there are a lot of things that I don't want you to worry about, and that is because my aim is not to bombard you with information in the constitutional way. It is not like a constitution that you have to learn in this very manner, in a specific sequential manner, because I did not do it, and whenever I tried to do it, it was really, it was too much to remember and too much to memorize and too much to take in, actually. So that's the reason I have tweaked a couple of concepts, the sequence of concepts, actually. Okay, so the ism marfa in Arabic is an entire category that includes 7 types, alright, and al is one of the ways by which an ism nakra can be converted into an ism marfa. Okay, so that's what we are going to learn today, inshallah. This was our example, and let's proceed. Alright, so over here we are only first, so since this is lesson 4a, first, that is in this lesson, we are only going to learn how this conversion takes place, and then we are going to study a couple of related concepts to this al thing, and then inshallah proceed. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you its name right now, okay? It has a name, and the ism with which it is attached is also, it gets another term to it. It is called something else. So I'm going to disclose it at the end, inshallah, or rather in the next lesson, not here, because you'll just get lost in that terminology right now. So what is al? How do you convert an ism nakra to ism marfa? First step, it consists of only 2 steps. First of all, you add al, and next just replace the tanween with the single harakat. Okay, the Arab does not change, only the tanween is replaced. How so? Let me show you. So we have a couple of examples over here, and this is my pen. Okay, so we have kitabun, which means a book or any book. Then our first step was to add al, which I have done here, and at the same time notice I have dropped the tanween. Okay, so first step is al gets in, the tanween gets out. Then the next step is you replace the tanween with single harakat, okay, of the same Arab. Mind you, this is really important. Okay, so kitabun, this is rafa. So if you were to just take one harakat out, just out of this tanween, this double harakat, just uh, drop one, and you're going to be left with just one harakat over here. So we have kitabun, which becomes al-kitab in the beginning over here. Okay, with the addition of al, the tanween gets out, and then we replace this tanween with the single harakat of the same Arab. That's important. So that's all about it. Similarly, we have qalamun, a pen or any pen. Add the al, check the tanween out, and then we add the single harakat of the same Arab. So qalamun was rafa, al qalamu is again rafa and marfa. Okay, next waladan. Waladan we know means a son or a boy. So now this is in nasab form. Notice the post tanween alif, and then al gets in, tanween gets out, and then we replace it with single harakat of the same Arab. So this is single zabar. Notice here that I did not add this post tanween alif here. Why not? Because this post tanween alif is for unsound only. If there is no unsound, no post tanween alif. Okay, so even if that ism is in nasab form, but in marfa. Okay, so no unsound in the end means no post tanween alif. Therefore waladan becomes al walada without the post tanween alif. So waladan al waladu, waladan al walad, and then al walada. Next we have baitin, which is in jar form. So al gets in, tanween gets out, then we place the tanween with single harakat of the same Arab. So baitin becomes al bait and then al baiti. Alright, so I hope this conversion is quite clear. Let's cover a couple of more examples. For example, let's just say we have haq, haqun. Okay, so this would become, now I'm going to skip this middle step, okay, and we're going to write it directly. Al-haqu, al-haqu. Okay, haqu. All right, yeah. So a truth, this is a truth and the truth. Okay, haqun, al-haqu. Similarly, what else? Okay, we have jidarun or jidaran. Okay, jidaran means a wall. That becomes, notice the post tanween alif over here. So with the al form, it's going to become al jidara, al jidara. Okay, so this is what a wall, the wall. Okay, let's do another one. um mu this is muallimin. Muallimun means a teacher. So muallimin is the jar form of muallimun, and if I were to add al to it, it will become al muallimi. So al muallimi. Okay. Okay, one thing that is a bit different in some scripts, uh, in some scripts of the Quran Pak, of the Musaf, we have this, uh, and for example, we have this letter here, and then we have, so this is so the zabar, the fatha is present above this tashdid or this shadda, and if I were to do this would be considered as kasra. Okay, however, in some scripts, if you find a fatha below this, I'm sorry, if you find this kasra or the zir below the tashdid, then that is counted as a kasra. Okay, so you can see it here. Over here we have the kasra which is below this letter. Okay, so this is muallimin, and in some scripts you'll find this thing. Okay, so you'll find that there is this kasra which is above the letter but below the tashdid. Okay, so this also means that this is a kasra. Don't mistake it for your fatha. Okay, so this is muallimin again. Alright, we changed tracks because I needed to tell you this, and let's get back to our example. So we have muallimin, a teacher, al muallimi, so this would be the teacher. Okay, notice how this double zir was was replaced by single zir. Okay, so let's see what we have next. All right, some important pointers. First of all, no post tanween alif in the marfa form, in nasab form, in nasab nouns. We covered it when we did the example of waladan. That, for example, if we have baytan, okay, baytan, when it gets converted to al bayta, oh sorry, al bayta, okay, then there is no post tanween alif in this form. Okay, this is the elaboration of this point. Then, oh yes, this is my favorite point, and people make this mistake a lot of times, and that's why I have elaborated it like this. Okay, so what happens, just let's read what I have written over here. So just as a noun cannot be a common and a proper noun at the same time. Okay, for example, a kitab, a book. Okay, a, it's either going to be a book or the book, not both, never both. Okay, so just as a noun cannot be a common and proper noun at the same time, the flags, now what do I mean by this? Flag of common noun is the tanween. Okay, and the flag of marfa, of ism marfa, is al. So these flags cannot ever coexist in an ism, can't ever coexist. Okay, so it's either going to be kitabun or al kitabu. It is never going to be al kitabun. never ever, please. And why can't it be that way? Because there is no such thing as the chair, as I mentioned here. So al is the and bun is so there is no such thing as the chair. Please don't ever make this mistake, okay? Whenever we have this al, we can't ever have this tanween at the same time, okay? So it's never going to be al qalamun, it's never going to be al baytun. Please, no, just be very cautious of this, okay? And I've seen people making this mistake a lot of times, so just be very careful. There's no such thing as al kitabun. Tanween gets out as soon as al enters an ism, okay? That's it. So, oh wow, so we have reached the exercise, and it's actually more of an example session actually. uh, we are going to do a thorough exercise and a thorough practice of this thing when we have completed this section, this topic of al, inshallah. And we're going to apply this knowledge that we have gotten so far on the Musaf, inshallah. Okay, we are going to identify the different verbs, the different words in their different configurations, and inshallah, it will be a very productive exercise. So over here, these are the examples. First of all, what do we have? We have the word amal, which is amalun technically, now you know. And we have the rafa, nasab, jar forms. We have amalun, amalan, notice the post-tadween alif. Then we have amalin. Add al to it, we'll get al amalu, al amala, al amali. So amal means an act or a deed. So we have, not yet. Okay, let's zoom it a bit. So Adid, like all of these, Adid, and Al Amalu is the deed or the act. The deed, actually, that is more appropriate. So, okay, the deed and a deed. Next, we have, now while you are practicing these Rafa Nasab Jar forms, I want you to, it would be actually better if you uh, keep this thing, if you keep bringing this thing to your mind, that what does rafa signify? There were two things, either the normal national the default state of an ism, or it's going to be a file, okay? Next, nasab was any kind of detail, or is going to be one of the 11 mansubat that we're going to cover step by step, inshallah. Or it's going to be one of the two states or the two conditions that bring the bring an ism into jar form, okay? So again, it's 2 for 2, all these things, okay? This is actually 11, but I contracted it, I condensed it into 2. So this is what. All right, so while you're practicing these things, keep in mind that what does rafa signify, what does nasab signify, and what does jar signify, okay? So that's going to make your future lessons way easy, inshallah. Next example is jaza'un. Jaza'un means reward, a reward to be precise. So we have jaza'un, a reward, jaza'an without the post tanween alif because of the hamza alif hamza combo. So we have jaza'un, jaza'an, jaza'in. All of them mean a reward. Then we have the marfa form, which is the addition of al. So we have al jaza'u, we have al jaza'a. Notice that there is no post tanween alif. Well, here the reason is different, and here the reason is different, okay? So you have to know the reasons why something is happening in Arabic. All right, so al jaza'u, al jaza'a, and then al jaza'i. All right. Next we have bintun. which means a girl or a daughter. Then we have, alright, so bintun, bintan, bintin, a daughter or a girl. Okay, just excuse this thing, but there wasn't any space over here, so I contracted it. Alright, so we have the marfa form of bintun, which is al bintu, the daughter, al binta, without the post-tanween alif, which was here, and then al binta, and then the jar form is al binti. Okay, the girl or daughter. Okay, next we have waqi'atu. Okay, so waqi'atun, a happening, waqi'atan, no post-tanween alif because it ends in golta or the round ta, also known as, or rather actually known as tai marbuta. So waqi'atun, waqi'atin, waqi'atan, and then waqi'atin, a happening. Then we add al to it and it becomes al waqi'atu. We have a surah name after it, so it's Surah al Waqi'ah. Al waqi'atu, al waqi'ata, al waqi'ati. Next is yes. This is tricky. Now we know shay'un, which means a thing or anything. Actually, a thing is better. So a thing. Then we have shay'an. Notice the post-tanween alif because it's only hamza and not alif hamza combo. So shay'un, shay'an, shay'in. Let's zoom this part. Okay. Notice how we said al-waqi'a over here and al-kitab. Okay. Just okay. Keep this thing in mind. What's happening here? We do not see any al-shay'un, do we? We don't. So it's not al-shay'u, okay? It is ash-shay'u, okay? So alif here, alif of al is connecting directly to the next letter, not the next letter, is directly connecting to the first letter of the actual word, so which is sheen. So alif here is connecting here directly, and this al sound has been ignored totally here. Yeah, see, so there is no harakat on al, it is totally silent. It is ash-shay'u and not al-shay'u. Okay, and the next lesson is about why this thing has happened. Okay, so we're going to practice the rafa, nasab and jar forms in this example, in this lesson, but in the next lesson inshallah we are going to discuss that why this thing has happened. Okay, so for now it's ash-shay'u and not al-shay'u. Okay, that is terribly wrong. And so we have ash-shay'u, then ash-shay'a, ash-shay'u, ash-shay'a. Notice there is no post-tanween alif, and then we have ash-shay'i. Okay, the thing, the thing, the thing. Alright, so this marks the end of this lesson, and inshallah I'll meet you in the next one, which is going to tell us why this thing has happened here. Okay, why this has happened. So barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al Hakim, and I'll see you in the next one inshallah. Allah Hafiz.